morning. Today I'm gonna try to read all of the Wayward Children series by Seanan McGuire in 24 hours. Realistically, well, first off, I only own the first 5 books, so that's really my goal, is to read the first 5, but if I finish those in a good time, I'll go ahead and get the Kindle edition of Across the Green Grass and do that too. Also, realistically, I'm really trying to do this in 18 hours so I can still get to sleep at a good time because I value my sleep. So let's get started with the first one. Time to make breakfast, so we're gonna switch to the audiobook. Just finished Every Heart a Doorway. I don't have a lot of thoughts on it. It was a reread for me. The ending's kind of dumb. But other than that, I love it. I think it's a really good book. I think it's interesting. I do think Seanan McGuire, when the 6th book released, made a post about like the difference between writing stories with representation that are like introductory, and this one feels a little bit like that. The amount of times they explain what asexuality is in different ways was a little repetitive, but I still think it's really good and really important to include that, so I enjoyed it. Anyway, going on to book 2, which I believe is Down Among the Sticks and Bones, Jack and Jill's story. Unfortunately, I do have a meeting today in about half an hour, but so far I'm pretty well on track. I'm almost done with book 2, and this is 5 hours in. My goal was 1 book per 3 hours, or 3 hours per book. So I'm on track. I'm ahead of schedule, which means I have time for this meeting. And it seems like we're on pretty good track to get to Across the Green Grass Fields. That's what the book is. Down Among the Sticks and Bones, I like this one more. I'm not quite done with it. I guess the ending could totally change things, but I guess I know the ending to this one already. But I'm definitely enjoying it more than I did the first one. I think I like Jack and Jill more than I liked, what was even her name? Some old lady, Nancy. I like Jack and Jill more than I like Nancy. I think this is a more complex story, even if it's kind of brief. This could be a whole novel, and like they could expand all this stuff that's happening in the moors, and instead it's like, here's these snippets, which is really fascinating. And I'm enjoying it a lot more. I think it's really interesting, the complex morality that they're introducing here, especially contrasting the doctor with the master, and the fact that like the doctor is seen as the hero in this area only because he's the lesser evil, and it's cool. I'm really enjoying this one. Alright, trying to get to a spot where whatever. 3 books down, and it's not even 2:30, so I'm doing pretty good. Book 3 so far is probably my least favorite. I'm just gonna be back up. I don't know, the characters just didn't click with me as much. This is a terrible shot. The characters just didn't click with me as much. Similar to the problem I had with Nancy in the first one, I felt like Cora was constantly thinking about the way that being overweight plus size was constantly like just over explaining the ways that had affected her. The difference with this is that like I'm not plus size, so I can't be like, well, I think it's bad representation. Like, I didn't think Nancy was bad representation. I just thought it was kind of explaining to me things that I already knew. Whereas with Cora, it was explaining things maybe I didn't know as much, although I feel like most of it was stuff I already know. But because I didn't know it, then I can't see if it's accurate. So that was kind of my problem there. And I just didn't connect with any of the other characters. I mean, Cade and Christopher are great, and I'm looking forward to, I think book 5 is a lot of Christopher, I hope, because I really like him. So the characters weren't as good, but the plot here was more solid. It was much more typical. It was a very solid quest plot line, so that was fun. And now we're going into book 4, and I'm not sure whose door we're going through today, but I'm excited to find out. We're getting Lundy's story. I can't say I expected or really particularly wanted this, but I'm intrigued. In and Absent Dream is slowing me down a little bit, but I'm still pretty on schedule. But I gotta make dinner, so hopefully we'll get through this soon and move on to the next one. Literally in the time it took me to dice the onions, I finished In an Absent Dream. I think this one might be my favorite so far. I still want a longer story. I still want a full novel or even a series. Like this one would lend itself really well to a trilogy. Well, maybe, I don't know. I feel like the first half of this would make a really good novel, but like the second half maybe not as much, just because of what it is. I don't know. It's interesting, that especially that first section, because I don't want to spoil things, but that first section really could have used a little more length to it, I think. But on that note, I will be moving to book 5, which is the last one that I own, which is, let's double check, the Come Tumbling Down. So I'm gonna get started on this one now. That's it. Just finished the last bit of book 5. About 2 hours later than I would have liked to. I would have liked to cram this into 12 hours, but 14's pretty good. Come Tumbling Down. This one was dark. All of them have this darkness in the background. Not necessarily in the background, but everything's unsettling and dark. There's murder and gore. But this one was the first one that was just dark. Like, I don't know what it was about it. Maybe it's just the moors as a setting is dark. But I'm not gonna get across the green grass fields right now. I'd like to get some sleep. But I'm definitely gonna continue the series as it goes, but I might wait till a few more are out and then binge them again like this. It's good. I can see this becoming a weird TV show, like Infinity Train style. Just really weird, and I don't know. Maybe, I don't know. It'd be an interesting animation. Animated show. They could either make it kind of tone it back, make it more appropriate for kids, or they could go full out with it. And make a really weird, creepy adult show. Either way, I enjoyed this, and now it's my bedtime. Bye.